My name is Fiona and I'm a fully recovered chronic insomniac turned certified sleep coach. And in today's video, I'm going to be breaking down why self-kindness and compassion is the most important element of lasting holistic insomnia recovery. For context, this video is the fourth video of a 4-part series where I break down what insomnia is, how to actually break the cycle, how to understand your thoughts and emotions and make sense of that inner landscape. And now finally, this missing component and how you can learn why being self-kind and compassionate towards yourself is important, and also how you can actually start implementing that in your day-to-day. To get straight into it, let's start by understanding why being self-kind and compassionate towards ourselves is even important. And this actually starts at the very beginning of when we start struggling with insomnia. I'm going to take a wild guess and say that you are maybe the high achieving type. You get things done, a problem presents itself, and you tackle it head on. You live your life full throttle, in control, you're type A, and that's just who you are and how you like to be. And I'm not gonna take that away from you. I think it's fantastic that you have high standards for yourself, and I have the exact same for myself. And being that way has also allowed me to actually achieve so many great things in life this far. The problem with these kinds of standards when it comes to sleep is that oftentimes they can actually backfire. When we start struggling with sleep, we tend to have the mentality of, I'm going to fix this. I'm going to figure out what's wrong. You are someone who has achieved hard things in the past. For me, I had lived abroad, learned a new language. I had found jobs in different countries and cities, and I just couldn't believe that I just couldn't sleep. Like it seems so basic, and I felt so broken. And the harder I actually tried to fix my sleep, the more I would actually feel this way. And that is because I do not see, failure, or I see failure as unacceptable. And I felt like I was failing at sleep. And that's where that negative self-talk actually starts. You start thinking, okay, I'm broken, I'm wrong, this is gonna be my life forever, I'm gonna look tired for the rest of my life, this is affecting how I look, this is affecting my job, this is like negative, 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 right? Ultimately, you're not really allowing yourself to have a human experience. And if you think of it, in a way, would you ever actually speak to a loved one who is struggling like you are the way that you speak to yourself? Most likely not. On a scientific side, and why it's also important, if that's kind of like how your brain is rooted, or wired, the more pressure we put on ourselves and the more we talk negatively towards ourselves, the more we actually increase our levels of hyperarousal. Our nervous system, our fight or flight response, feeds off the desire for control. And whenever something feels outside of our control, it feels threatening. So it actually increases the adrenaline and cortisol in our bloodstream. So you may think that you're trying to fix the problem by talking to yourself negatively, by pushing pressure and making sure that this is something you need to fix, when in reality, it's probably contributing to the issue at large. And that is that your nervous system is currently in a state where it doesn't want to be screamed at. It wants to be understood. It feels like it's under threat, and you're almost trying to force it not to feel that way. This is where this element of self-kindness and compassion comes in, and it is so important. And it is actually, I feel like it's actually quite difficult to understand how to start doing it. To understand this from my perspective is, I like to think that insomnia struggles with sleep is a trauma to the brain. You have experienced a traumatic event that your brain has created specific pathways for in order to keep you safe. This doesn't make you broken, it makes you human. And the more you actually accept your humanity and accept that certain attitudes and behaviors and tendencies around sleep exist to keep you safe, it makes it a lot easier for us to understand, okay, I'm actually allowed and able to soften here. In practice, what does this actually mean? What does it actually mean to be kind to ourselves? I personally like to write everything down whenever I'm struggling with something and I'm not understanding my emotions, my anxieties. I like to write things down because it allows us to create a bit of space between us and our thoughts, and it allows us to come back to what we can control and kind of shift that perspective. I want you to write down how you're currently speaking to yourself. Is it the I shoulds, I have tos, this can't be so, you're broken, you're beating yourself up? What would you actually say to a friend instead? Especially if you have now seen this series, you now know that sleep is outside of your control. So why are you like banging yourself up about the fact that you can't control it? Nobody can. Yes, you're tired, but there will be tired days. It makes you human. You're not supposed to be superhuman. You, yes, have emotions. That's also part of our nervous system talking and trying to keep us safe. Ultimately, how can you start identifying how you are talking to yourself? It's going to be very difficult for us to shift into that perspective of being self-kind and compassionate if we don't understand how we're speaking to ourselves first. So number one is you're going to sit down with a pen and paper and you're going to write down how you've currently been talking to yourself. And then number two, I'm going to ask you to do the opposite. How would you talk to a friend who is struggling with the same? I love to use this analogy of imagine a loved one or like a young child was struggling with sleep. How would you comfort them, right? How would you allow them to have that human experience? And then just ask yourself, why is that not available towards yourself? And to finish off this video, a few of the ways that I would do this myself was at night, I would shift my perspective from, oh no, to oh well. Whenever the thoughts and emotions were loud, I would give myself time and space to process them. I wouldn't try and push them away. I started learning that this was part of the human experience. And I would really remember it. I'd tell myself, and I'd still do it to this day, whenever I experience a speed bump, which hasn't been in quite a while, but I would just say that I'm human, and the fact that I'm experiencing a speed bump is not because I'm broken, but because my nervous system once tried to keep me awake in order to protect me from wakefulness, and it has momentarily forgotten that that isn't in fact a threat. I can't negatively self-talk myself out of that situation. I need to be kind and compassionate to the version of me that's actually trying to protect me from this experience. So please just practice a little bit of self-kindness and compassion towards yourself. We are so hard on ourselves. We're our own worst critics. Just know that the human experience is actually beautiful and amazing when it isn't perfect. So allow yourself to also experience that. And if you have absolutely any comments, questions, concerns, or you'd like to tell me about how you've been doing with your sleep, I'd absolutely love to hear from you. You can go ahead and drop those in the comment section below, or feel free to also email me and I'll get back to you.